Welcome to a small day in the life with me. So I started off by putting Bosco's bed down, and then I was grabbing him out the field, and there's Nicole going off on her little dog walk with Banjo, and I came to pick out his feet, and he was just like, wouldn't leave me alone, and he was acting as if his feet had never been picked out before. It was so weird. Anyways, his feet are so much lighter than Boris's, even though he's got much bigger feet, and he's literally like 3 hands taller, but they were so much lighter, so he was just so much more polite. And then he came over to the camera, and he was like sniffing it, and I thought he was going to knock it over, but he surprisingly didn't, but he was acting as if he'd never seen a phone before either. Anyways, here I am just picking out his feet. It's kind of like a horse game, you know, when they pick out their feet. We were trying to head up to the menage, and there's a massive tractor moving a container, and he was spooking. But we finally made it up to the menage, and you've got my fat helmet on, because he is big and spooky. I don't wear it with Boris because I trust Boris, but Bosco is known to be spooky, and I started off just doing a bit of ground work, just get him to calm down, and I'll hand it to Nicole. She has done a lot of good work. Like when we first got him, he was very spooky, and Nicole did all the work to get him where he is now. Like he's so much better now than he used to be. And if you're smiling at that compliment, you shouldn't be, because you should not be watching this, and I told you not to watch it because this is supposed to be a surprise. But I was just walking around with him a bit just to let him get to know me a bit and like build that trust, because it was very windy and there was that tractor moving, so I just wanted him to get to know me a bit and like bring that bond onto the new level, you know. And then he was doing his backup, and he was very, very good at that, and he was very reactive to that, and that's great for teaching him to bow. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing today, by the way, because I haven't mentioned that. But you can take this as a quick tutorial on how to bow if you want. I've got a proper tutorial on my YouTube if you want to use it, but the first step is getting them to have a really good backup, and it's very important to have a good backup from like the side, because that's where you'll be asking them to bow from. And as you can see, Bosco's backup was very good, so that helped a lot. And I also had treats in my pockets, which he hadn't quite figured out, / he just didn't know yet. But I started like by tapping his leg and getting him to lift it up, and then just like holding it there and rewarding, you know. So I didn't actually try any like actual bowing stuff yet. I did that a few times just to get him used to like lifting his leg up when I tapped it, and it does help when you do it when they pick out their feet. But because Nicole taught him how to back up by using the lead rope, that's what I used to get him to back up, with the voice command, of course, of asking him to back up. And you can see how good that was, like him shifting his weight back. Like that's so good for the first step and like his first time doing it. And he did do quite a lot of pivoting in this session because he wasn't quite sure what I was asking. But the key is just like here he pivots. Like the key is just to stay patient. What I did is continue to hold his leg, and then once he was standing still, then proceeded to ask him to back up and try to do that, and just like release and reward, and also treats. I just kept repeating that, and when I taught Boris to bow, I tried different methods of like holding his leg or pressing on his chest or pulling the lead rope. But like you can see on my left hand, I like push on his leg just to try ask him to back up that way, and it did really work. It's so helpful looking back at these videos. Like it is so important if you want to teach your horse to bow to video, because I did not in person, I didn't see how much he shifted his weight back, but looking back on the video, he shifted his weight back a lot more than I realized. And it's so important to do treats and rewards so they know like which bit they're doing correctly, so that you can work on that and build on it. Bosco did keep pivoting when I was trying to ask him to back up, like he did here, so I just had to wait until he'd finished, and then you can see like once he stands, I then ask him and he shifts his weight back, so then I release and reward. And I did lift my leg up because I thought he was going to stand on me. He was being so cute the whole session. Like look how cute he was here. Like I know he was looking at something, but still it was so cute. But I think Bosco should be the first ever ballet hit horse. Like look at these pivots, they were on point, they were so good considering he had 3 legs. Like if he had a surgery and only had to have 3 legs, like he'd be so good. But it's quite funny because we started off facing the camera and like gradually ended up having our back turned to the camera. But we finished on such a positive note. Like he was so good and had already learned so much in that session. But it's much better to do short, more frequent sessions than like long, less often sessions. But I also did run out of treats. But he was so cute in this video. Like he was just adorable. Our bond had reached a new level, but then we left the arena and he was being chill and like walking behind me, not in this video. But then he went into his stable and he was eating his hay, and then I had to put Boris's bed down, and it was annoying because there was an entire bed of straw to put down, and it was really dusty. But yeah, then I was just putting Boris's bed down, and I made a fun little time lapse for you. I had to make it in like a separate CapCut edit and speed it up, and then speed it up again in this new one because it was too laggy otherwise. But yeah, I put it in time lapse because otherwise that's really boring for you guys. I mean, you probably haven't made it this far anyway. If you have made it this far, then put like some sort of emoji. This is Boris's final bed, and it was a lot bigger than it looked on camera, which is the most annoying thing that always happens. But then I went to muck out Joey's stable, and he has shavings, and they're so dense, so it doesn't make a very big bed, but they are very dense. In that video before, like of me putting down the straw on Boris' stable, it was initially 3 minutes, and then I ran out of storage, which was annoying, but then I made it like 3-4 minutes into 16 seconds, so you're welcome. And then I brought Boris in. Nicole's back from her walk and she wanted to bring Joey in, so she brought Joey in, and he was marching off ahead because Boris is slow. And then I made their feeds, and then I'm going to do a fun little transition here. Boris's 2 scoops of Easy Excel, which is lovely. The transition just didn't work, because you know when it just starts like recording like later on. But then I made Joey's feed, and he has 1 scoop of chaff, and I forgot to film putting in a supplement. But then I made Bosco's feeds because I wanted to have more content, and he has 1 scoop of this chaff and 1 scoop of these cues. I don't know what they are, but then I went to pick out Boris's feet, and his feet, like his feathers, they're so cute. But yeah, like he lifts out his leg for me because he's very good, but also it might be because I taught him to bow. But his feet are so much heavier than what's his name, Bosco, and he's like 3 hands smaller. Like, I don't get it. But his back legs are so annoying because he pulls it away from me, and then I have to pull it out, and I like do a proper pull out to get him to like stretch it, and he quite enjoys it, and he stays in that stretch position, but it looks so funky. But he just hovers his leg. It's so funny until I come to the next one, then he picks that one up, and it's like a little mini piaffe. And then we were finally on the last leg, and I think Boris just wanted to go in and eat his dinner at this point, and I didn't ride Boris because A, it was getting dark, and B, we needed to go to the garden centre to get some Christmas decorations, even though it's literally like the 22nd of December. And yeah, because our family's disorganised. That's just what our family's like. I don't know what I did here. It was so weird. I came out of the feed section, just stood there a good few seconds, like contemplating life. And then I took Boris's hair collar off to go into his stable, and he went to go the other way. I think he just wanted his food, but he usually goes straight in, but he didn't this time. But as soon as I put him in the right direction, he went in. But he puts his ears back like that for food, but I think he thought that was dinner in the stable, but that wasn't. I didn't change its rungs because it was basically saying like the same temperature the whole night. But yeah, he had his dinner, so he was happy. I turned the light off, and I went to shut the door, and I wanted to do this like grand finale thing, like to be like bye, but then the door just like wouldn't let that happen. It just went all stiff. But yes, thank you very much for watching this day in the life if you made it this far. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.